So Volvo India has just launched its second EV, the C40 Recharge. In fact, it's going to be officially launched on September 4th. EVs are the way forward for Volvo, not only globally but in India as well. And talking to me about this and more, we have Jyoti Malhotra, the head of Volvo India. Jyoti, thanks so much for talking to us. Congratulations, C40 Recharge. Clearly, you've had a lot of success with the XC40. What are your expectations from the C40?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for, appreciating the way forward for us as far as electrification is concerned, and that's our global strategy. Now, we are bringing C40 to India. This is our first born electric from our stable. I think that's a big statement. And I think this is a second offering. First offering, XC40 Recharge, has seen a very good success. And we are hoping that this will replicate the same. And our aim basically is to expand the pond. We want to have more people coming and adopting EVs. And that's, I think, the mission we are on.
Right, and if you could just give us some, let's say, data on how the EV penetration has been for you all. What is the current penetration of EVs vis-a-vis your total sales, and what do you expect now it to grow with the C40 Recharge?
Yeah, so I think globally we have already said that we want to become a full electric car company by 2030. And I think that's true for India as well. And by mid-decade, 25-26, we want to come to 50% of our cars should be fully electric. And when we say fully electric, we are not talking about hybrids, we are talking about BEVs. And we launched a few months back, 6-7 months back, we started delivering XC40 Recharge in India. And if I look at the data of, let's say, first half of this year, this calendar year, we are close to 25-26% of our volumes are now coming from BEVs. And I think we are really excited, and I think we are now confident that we are on the right path, and we have a plan to bring one electric car every year. So now we bring C40, and we'll bring more later on as well. But I'm sure this will help us to get closer to our ambition.
Right, and just on the XC40, is it fair to say that's your best-selling model right now, or one of your best-selling models in the range across ICE and EV?
We can say that actually, if we were to look at, I think XC60 and XC40 both are, I think, right now fighting for that number one spot. One month XC60 goes above, other month XC40 comes forward. So I think they are like the ones who are sort of competing within our own range. But I can tell you one interesting fact, and I just saw that data from Europe. In Europe, in first 6 months of they follow registration data. Apart from, I think, Tesla, who has been there, but if you look at the rest of the legacy player, XC40 Recharge is the top selling car in Europe, Recharge. So that's I think really heartening, and we believe that I think we'll be able to also do that in India as well.
And Jyoti, what's interesting is you've got the kind of both. You've got an XC40 ICE and a BEV, which is quite interesting. Same model, different powertrains. How is the customer response, and do you think sometimes it even could get confusing between ICE and EV, and it might just make sense to just go with one powertrain going forward?
Yeah, so I think what we have seen is that when we offer both the cars, customers are increasingly shifting to go for BEV, given all the sort of, I think, benefits which are available, whether they are registration related or I think overall. So we are contemplating, we have not taken a call, but the way it is going, probably it is better to have maybe only BEV offering. And I think that's where we want to be. But let's see, I think ultimately the customer will decide. We still are selling both the models, but at some point of time, we'll have to take a call. And I think the data tells us that more and more customers are now buying BEVs when they get the choice of between the same model having an ICE and BEV. So let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Right. And just again, are you surprised at the kind of pace of adoption, or is this as per your expectations, or do you think the interest is much faster than you anticipated?
No, I think interest is very much there. I think we had anticipated that. Our thought always was that as far as our segment is concerned, the luxury EV segment, the adoption will be very fast here. And to be very honest, we were disappointed last year because of the chip shortage and all. We could not get enough cars. I'm sure if we had more cars, we could have put more cars on road by now, and the traction could have been even more. But having said that, I think customers are lapping it up. We get to see so many testimonials. Customers are, I think, really excited to drive a BEV now, and I think that's what we are.
Right.
We're very, very encouraged with that. Yeah.
Right. And Jyoti, expectations from the C40 Recharge. Clearly, it will expand your EV share. Little bit of cannibalization also possible with the XC40. Clearly, because it's in the same kind of genre vehicle, and fundamentally it's a similar vehicle. One's a SUV, one's a coupe body style. So, how do you see the C40, let's say, growing your market share and as well as the penetration within your range as well?
Yeah, in my view, C40 is an all new car. It may share the same platform, but it has its own personality. It has its own capabilities. It has its own range, and it has its own looks. It is so. I think we give now more choice to the customer. There are customers, I'm sure, who will be inclined to buy an XC40 Recharge, and there will be others who will be inclined to buy C40. But I think ultimately customers will decide.
Right.
We believe that I think there will be a good balance between the two.
Right.
And I think depends on what customers' requirements are. I believe both the cars offer two distinct offerings, and I'm sure they will find their own customers and will ultimately help us to expand our volumes and obviously our share.
Right. And looking at electrification, what do you think are still the big hurdles right now? Is it the charging infrastructures, let's say home charging, which is still a let's say problem with RWAs and having these sort of small issues? Do you think this is still a fundamental problem, or for your segment, everyone's can manage a home charger on their own? Yeah?
See, by and large, our customers are able to sort of get the home charger installed. We are offering one charger along with the car, and what we see is more or less, I think across the country, people are able to get their chargers installed, except for some places where RWAs are not very progressive, or they have some genuine issues where there could be a challenge. But by and large, I think we are beyond that. So home charging is what we believed from very beginning, that customers will be able to depend on home charging for their charging requirements. So there is another angle to this. Home charging basically means at the premises of a customer. So it could be residence or it could be office. So what we have seen, a lot of customers who could not get, let's say, load enhancement or RWA cooperating and giving them a charger in their parking space, they are able to get it at their factory or their office, right. And some solutions do come in.
Right.
And in India, you see, India is a country where we have million problems, but there are million solutions.
Right. And Jyoti, these cars, they kind of lend themselves to be driven out of town. They've got the performance, they've got the range. Do you see the kind of highway usage still very, very minimal? And that again actually is the biggest challenge, because the kind of charging infra, fast charging infra on the highways, again far and few between, and maximum 50 kilowatt. Most of them are even 25 kilowatt, which again for a 78 kilowatt hour battery does take a lot of time.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, see, we are offering on XC40, I think it is 400 plus range, and on now C40 it is 530 is what we are offering. What we have seen, very interesting phenomena, when initially customers buy, they first really test it out driving within the city. That is 400 for real.
Right.
That's the first thing they do for, let's say, first few weeks.
So they build their confidence that
once they get a confidence that I can get 400 or 500 now in C40, then they do venture out.
Right.
They calculate that, okay, if I have to go from let's say Delhi to Chandigarh, which is like 240 kilometers, and I don't need to even stop on the way. I can at one stretch go to Chandigarh. Even if I stop for a snacks, I don't need charging. I can get the charging done in Chandigarh. Chandigarh has a lot of charging solution, and then I can come back.
Right.
So people are figuring out and venturing out.
Right.
And that is something which customers are telling us, and in fact they are ready to, because they are the first adopters, they are ready to come back, give testimonial that you want to tell other customers our numbers. Please tell, we are able to find solutions. And I think it is just a mindset, because it's a new way of usage. You are used to fill a tank, go, and then you find a place and get it tank full again and move. This is a little different.
Right.
So we are there. It's a learning curve, I'm sure, for the customers as well. And parallelly, the infrastructure is also coming up. There are a lot of COPs which you see, the charging point operators who are now coming and sort of adding different type of chargers across the highways. The challenge I foresee is the requirement of, let's say, one uniform app which can give a complete information to the user. We have seen it in other countries. I believe our government is already sort of contemplating and I think trying to bring that together, because what's happening today is there are different type of chargers and they're available at different places. So if we can unify, and I think it has to be done together. I think government is doing their bit, but I think all stakeholders need to come together and I think put it in one place, and then I think it will further improve.
Right. Lastly, Jyoti, looking at this year ahead, likely to be possibly your best year. I think last one was 2018. Do you think you'll break all sales records this year, the way things are going?
Yeah, I think the first half has been really good. Supply situation is still, I would say we are not out of woes. There are still challenges which keep coming, especially, festival season is coming. We are very, very gung-ho about it, but supplies can still affect us. If there are no such hiccups, I believe we are on way to do better than 2018. And I think that's true for us, and I think for the industry also. I think we are seeing everyone doing well now.
And what is your projection or estimate of how much would EVs be a part of your total sale by the end of 2023? I mean, now that you've got C40 coming in, just an estimate. I mean, you're 25% now, right?
So so I think what happens now is that we get to have a few months of C40. It's not the whole year.
Correct. Yeah.
So it probably will not add up. If I look at a total year and then say what's the percentage, it may not be very high now. 25 is already there, but I'm sure it would be 35% plus is in my estimate for the whole year. Is what we are looking at.
Right.
But I think we are really
so you're on target to meet 50% by 2025.
Yes, I think we are very well on the way.
Right.
We're well on the way.
Right.
There are months where our penetration, India is one of the top performers across the globe. We are small, but when it comes to percentages, we are amongst the best.
Wow, that's fantastic. And Jyoti, last question, just in terms of broad basing your range right now. I mean, a great strategy bringing the twin motor 4-wheel drive XC40 and C40 also really top end, because really that performance has been a big hook, and I think that's been probably one of the biggest USPs of the car. Is there scope maybe on the XC40 now that you've got the C40, which would be slightly more premium, to bring out smaller batteries, just 2-wheel drive, single motor variants?
See, there are different possibilities, right? We have within our own portfolio globally different type of powertrains are available, and we are looking at them. And once C40 hits the market, we will see how customers respond, what is the customer requirement. And as I said, it's a learning curve. I'm sure it's a learning for customer, it's learning for us also. It's a very different technology, and we need to really assess the market and take a call. All those options are available for us, and we have to take a call. But my thought is that yes, we will have to look at different options, because if we have to achieve our ambition, I think the more choice we give to customers, better it would be.
Right, and that would even mean bringing the price point down a little bit, just to broad base it as well. With I mean, if you had a 2-wheel drive
it's not about. I would be very honest. It's not about the pricing. I think pricing is. I think what we have been able to offer is really very fantastic, and people are very, very happy with the pricing. So it's not the question of pricing. It is a question of offering. There are some customers who are very happy with a 408 horsepower and I think going 0 to 100 in 4.7. But there are others who want it to be a little not that intense. That intense. So that's the need that we need to look at and see whether customers really want this much power or they're happy with, because it looks like that a lower power can actually mean a better range. That's another option. So it's a interplay between these two. So we have to see from that angle, not from pricing.
Understood. Well, Jyoti, congrats. Really, I think exciting times ahead for Volvo India. Really, they've taken a strong lead in the EV space. I think XC40, you've said it's the best-selling EV right now. So XC40 Recharge, the best-selling EV, and I think C40 is only going to add to your volumes. Congratulations, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.